Hello audience, welcome to the Randolph Family Kitchen, and today we are going to make a Domino's classic, where I work, the stuffed cheesy bread. I am a professional, so you can trust my recipe, and honestly today will be a good day to learn this because Domino's prices are going up, so it will honestly be cheaper, but the bad weather makes Domino's more busy, so honestly probably be faster too. Not to rip on the place I work, but to make a stuffed cheesy bread, we're going to need these simple ingredients: a bowl, an oven, a pizza stone, an oven preheated to 475 degrees, parchment paper, an oven mitt, a pizza cutter, the old Martha White pizza crust, but normally any other pizza crust works, but Martha White works, and it will depend on the temperature you have in the oven. Martha White prefers 475, she might run a little bit hot, but we'll also need all-purpose flour, vegetable oil, spoon and fork, that, white cheese, yellow cheese, and if you're not in the business, that's actually mozzarella and cheddar, and that's about it. So the first thing you do, you'll get old Martha White. Make sure you shake it down, because this is a pizza crust, but if you don't know how pizza crust work, it's actually a powder first before you add any water. And you'll get your bowl, and you will pour all of it in there. In making the pizza, like the dough, oops, had a little bit of an accident. Making the dough is probably the longest and most excruciating part of it. So if you have a little bit of a mess, you just want to scoop it up, because then it will be a little bit smaller. I wash my hands beforehand, so don't be grossed out. I'm clean. I'm also clean at work. But then you'll get hot water, make sure it's hot. Make sure it's hot to the touch, and you'll fill it up with a half a cup, measuring cup, and you'll add it to good old Martha White. And then you'll get your fork, and you want to just spread it around in a circular motion, and you should do it around 30 times. That's what it says on the package, but I'm a professional. I might go a little bit faster than the average Joe, or if you're inexperienced in the Italian world, like I am, if you didn't hear the music in the beginning. And now that it's starting to kind of get a little bit of a toughness, it's sort of an exercise, it's a bit of a workout, but now that it's started to get into a doughy consistency, you're going to get the rest of it in there, kind of mash it together to make a ball format. And then now that it's together, you'll get your spoon and you'll fill up all vegetable oil, and you'll get a spoonful. You want to be gentle because this stuff gets in your clothing, it won't come out. Sorry if I'm not looking at the camera. Now I am. There's the oven that just got preheated to 475 degrees if you heard that in the video. But you'll want to just spread that around, just whisk it lightly, and then you want to sort of form it into a ball. You don't want to get down that. And then you have to let the dough rise, and since it's a little bit smaller, if you see, it's a little bit smaller than normal pizza dough, but that's normal because the bread hasn't risen yet, the dough hasn't risen yet, so you want to place it in a warm location so the yeast can let the dough rise, and the warm location is on top of the oven that is already preheated to 475 degrees. Okay, now that the dough has risen and the yeast is activated, since it's been in a warm location covered by a towel for about around 5 to 8 minutes, you will grab your dough, but first you're going to want to get flour, and you're going to get about half a handful of flour, and you're going to spread it in a sort of square, since that's the shape of the cheesy bread you're making, because you don't want to have the dough on a part of the parchment paper without flour, because then that's how it sticks, and that will just ruin your eating process, because you don't want to eat parchment paper. It doesn't taste very good. Okay, now that that's spread out, you're going to grab your dough, and what they teach you at Domino's is that you sort of make it into a circle first. And now that it's sort of circular, I'm not going to spin it up in the air. I could if I want to, but I'm pretty inconsistent at it, even though I am a professional, if you check out the hat. Now that it's sort of spread out into a square, you're going to want to spread it out depending on how much cheesy bread you actually want. So if you're trying to share with the whole family, you might maybe want a little bit more dough. You might use 2 Martha Whites. But since I'm just eating this myself, I'd only need a square about a couple inches long and even a few inches wide. But see, there's a hole right there, very common. You just pinch it over and you push it down, and now there's no more hole. Now that it's in a sort of rectangle, you're ready to put your cheese on. And the way I like it and the way they teach you at work is you grab your white cheese first, your mozzarella, and you grab about 3 ounces, which is about a handful. You add it on the bottom, like that. And then you fold over like a calzone, like that. And then you push it down around the outside so the heat doesn't escape and it really cooks the mozzarella cheese all the way through. And then you grab your pizza cutter and you slice about 7 times, making 8 pieces in total. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now they kind of spread out. That's the amount of slices you'll have. Then you'll grab your cheddar cheese, and you want to have more cheddar cheese than you have mozzarella cheese so that it doesn't burn. So that's not enough. You want about 5 ounces. Okay, that's good. Now you get your pizza stone that I got out during the break, or I got ready during the break, and then you'll put it in the oven, and you'll let it sit in there for about 8 to 10 minutes, and you'll have to watch it depending on how much cheese or dough you added. But after that, then you will get the cheesy bread. Now that the cheesy bread is set for 8 to 10 minutes, you'll grab your oven mitt and you'll safely grab it out of the oven, and now you can enjoy your meal and know how to make one of the most delicious items on the Domino's menu from yours truly. And while you're eating, you can check out my Employee of the Month pins. Now get out of my kitchen.